30 minutes left. God is trying to reach you and you always skip this. Don't hurt God to skip. Something unexpected is going to happen suddenly. Open it quickly. You felt it earlier, but you told yourself it was nothing. A flicker behind your eyes. A shiver across your skin when no wind was blowing. You moved through your day like normal, but something was pressing inward, like a signal from beyond the veil. The sky today didn't behave like it should have. Light spilled strangely through the clouds, bending in hues you couldn't name. The earth beneath your feet seemed to pulse, ever so slightly, like it too was alive and warning you. Archangel Michael says the air is thick because something sacred is trying to push through. The atmosphere has shifted. An invisible storm is forming, but this one doesn't move through weather, it travels through souls. You've been skipping these signs. You've turned down the volume on heaven. God says He's tried to reach you through dreams, through delays, through the ache that suddenly grips your chest when nothing's wrong on paper. But you keep going, thinking tomorrow will look the same as today. You think safety means silence, and silence means peace. But the silence you're feeling now is not peace, it's the moment before thunder breaks. Your name has been whispered in the realm of angels. Not once. Not casually. Over and over. Urgently. Archangel Michael says the message could no longer wait, so the sky itself was told to distort. The sun agreed to flicker. Your room fell eerily still last night, as if time paused to see if you would feel it. God says this is no longer about comfort. This is about rescue. You are standing on the edge of something designed to pull you under if you do not turn your face toward Him. There's a shadow near your doorway that you've brushed off as coincidence. There's a call you missed that wasn't meant for your phone but for your soul. And now, the clock is ticking. It's not about fear. It's about mercy arriving like thunder on a mountaintop. The holy tremble is not to scare you, it's to jolt you awake before something irreversible passes through your life and leaves a divine wound. You felt the aching distance between what your spirit needs and what your body tolerates. You've smiled in rooms where your soul screamed for silence. You've surrounded yourself with distractions to avoid hearing the truth that has been roaring softly behind your ribs. God says the time for delay is being sealed. You will not be given this same warning again. The next time, it will not arrive as a whisper, it will arrive as a consequence. There is someone nearby, physically or spiritually, who has cloaked themselves in kindness but is feeding off your hesitation. They gain strength when you doubt your worth. Their mask will fall soon, and what you see will burn your memory forever. Archangel Michael says the chains you've ignored are now wrapping tighter. They weren't loud, they were subtle, shaped like comfort, familiar patterns, replayed betrayals. But now they will choke. You are being asked to shift now or surrender to a storm that wasn't meant for you. God did not build you for destruction, but destruction finds those who keep doors open to what was already meant to leave. There's a vibration around your life. It isn't chaos, it's the angelic battleground surrounding you, wings outstretched, swords drawn, time short. They are not waiting for you to be ready, they are waiting for you to be willing. You don't feel safe anymore because you've outgrown this version of your life. The discomfort is holy. The tension is sacred. God says the pain is proof that transformation is reaching for you. Archangel Michael says not everything that calls your name is meant to keep you. Some things are sent to test if you'll give your power away again. Some people only love the broken version of you, and the divine realm is tired of watching you shrink to stay loved. The sun is watching. The stars have tilted. The night you woke up gasping for no reason, heaven was closer than your own breath. And now, 45 minutes is not symbolic. It's a window. A divine moment being offered before it collapses into silence again. Before the lock turns and what was meant for you is passed to another. God says you don't need to know what's next. You only need to open. To feel. To trust. To stop skipping what your soul already knows. The door will knock again before this section ends. Not a literal door. A trembling in your spine. A memory that stabs your chest. A vision in your dreams. That's your real-life calling. The betrayal that changed you wasn't a punishment, it was the shattering that cleared space for what is coming. But if you keep rejecting the sacred ache, the next shattering may not be recoverable. Archangel Michael says this warning is mercy. The heavens are tightening around your name like a holy net. Not to trap you, but to rescue what is still sacred in you before it dissolves completely. The moon trembled behind torn clouds tonight. That was your sign. You didn't need a prophecy. You needed to listen to what your soul has been screaming through quiet moments and repeated patterns. Something unexpected is closer than you think. It is not random. It is not cruel. But it will be disruptive. God says what you've called coincidence is Him banging on the windows of your distractions. You can open. Or you can brace for the shaking. Either way, it begins now. Archangel Michael says someone is threading darkness through your daily life while pretending to protect you. This person has been allowed to stand too close. Their presence feels familiar, but their energy carries decay, and God has marked this soul as a saboteur. There was a moment not long ago when you felt an invisible sting after a conversation with them. You dismissed it as sensitivity. But your soul knew the truth, you were absorbing poison disguised as comfort. God says you've confused loyalty with bondage. This person, this presence, was once aligned with your light. But their alignment has shifted, and now they feed off the version of you that remains unsure, afraid, and silent. They smiled while praying for your downfall in secret ways. Not always with words, but with intentions. Not always in curses, but through manipulations and delayed truth. Archangel Michael says your light has begun to expose them. That's why their tone changed. That's why their support suddenly feels like surveillance. Heaven is revealing what's been hiding behind their eyes. There's a moment coming where their mask will burn off in front of you. It won't be dramatic. It won't be loud. It will come in a small sentence, a slip in energy, a glance that tells you everything without needing explanation. They never wanted you to rise. They were comfortable with your pain. Your weakness validated their control. But the shift inside you, the divine current that's growing louder, is disrupting their grip. God says the people who once seemed essential will begin to vibrate out of your life without your permission. That is not a loss. That is a rescue. You are being spiritually relocated. That means who is allowed near you must be reassessed. Not all who clap are celebrating you. Some are clapping because they think the performance of your life is nearing its tragic end. But heaven is not writing tragedy over you. Heaven is scripting redemption. Reversal. Resurgence. The one who betrayed you is about to be exposed. Not just emotionally, but supernaturally. Their intentions will turn against them. Their gossip will echo into their own losses. Archangel Michael says you are being hidden in plain sight right now. Not because you are weak, but because God is preparing your enemies to witness your divine unveiling. You've been dreaming of people you haven't spoken to in years. Faces reappearing in your memory. That is not nostalgia. That is spiritual recall. Heaven is showing you where the breaches first began. Some of your pain was not just emotional, it was orchestrated. Someone handed your name to darkness with a soft smile and a handshake behind your back. God says He saw it. The night you cried without knowing why. It was the moment your spirit recognized you were under spiritual surveillance. But that time is ending. The pressure you feel isn't meant to break you, it's meant to break what no longer belongs with you. You are being stretched to the edge of recognition so that what cannot come forward must fall behind. Someone is panicking now. Their intuition knows you are awakening. Their influence is breaking. They fear the version of you that finally listens to the divine voice instead of their manipulation. Archangel Michael says do not mourn what leaves in this season. Some things are not being taken, they are being removed to save your future. The reason your joy has felt like it's dipped in sorrow is because you've been smiling beside a disguised thief. A joy sapper. A future delayer. But now heaven is calling them to account. Soon, you will feel a divine separation begin. The energy between you and this hidden saboteur will turn sharp. Misunderstandings will rise. But they are not misunderstandings, they are exposures. You won't need to confront them. They will reveal themselves. Watch for the silence after your growth. Their retreat will be their confession. God says your circle is not sacred unless it supports your calling. You've allowed access based on shared history, but shared history cannot overwrite spiritual corruption. The signs were always there. The small betrayals. The late-night heaviness. The unexplained spiritual fatigue after seeing them. But you wanted to see good, so you dismissed the rot. No more. Archangel Michael says heaven is preparing to send a replacement. Someone filled with divine truth, protection, and restoration. But first, the counterfeit must be cleared. You have 45 minutes left inside a portal of clarity. After that, things move on their own. The spiritual contracts will begin to expire. You must release them. Not through drama. Not through revenge. Through silence and surrender. Because when God steps in, He doesn't negotiate. This season, heaven does not just reveal enemies, it retrieves power. You will feel strength in your bones again. You will wake up lighter. You will notice peace that doesn't require performance. These are the signs that the saboteur has been spiritually disconnected. God says this next separation is sacred. Do not chase what He removes. Do not mourn what He unearths. The weeds are being exposed before the blessing can root. You are not crazy for noticing their change. You are not wrong for feeling the distance. You are being divinely calibrated to stop carrying what was quietly killing you. The saboteur thrived in the fog. But now the fog is lifting. And light always scatters what can't survive truth. Archangel Michael says the one who wounded you may come with apology soon, but this is not repentance. It is panic. Stand in your clarity. Do not return to a fire you already escaped. God says He is building walls of light around your heart. Walls that do not trap, but protect. Gates that open only to the trustworthy. The divine is now your filter. And as this saboteur fades from your circle, their grip on your purpose vanishes too. Archangel Michael says the delay you've been suffering was not random, it was engineered. Fear, dressed as logic, was whispered into your mind by unseen forces the moment you were about to cross the threshold. Each time you felt close, something strange happened, a sudden storm, a bad dream, a conflict you couldn't explain. God says you have walked through open doors with trembling hands, unaware that the doorways were baited. Someone planted their fear in your mind like seeds, and they watered it every time they reminded you of your past failures. But those failures were lessons, not cages. The people you once trusted became subtle architects of your stagnation. Stay where it's safe, they said. But safe became the slow death of your destiny. Your greatness makes others question their own complacency, and instead of rising with you, they tethered you down. There is a divine war happening in the shadows of your life. The warfare hasn't been loud, it's been quiet, intimate, tailored to your mind. Whispers of unworthiness. Chilling memories that return when you're most inspired. But the pattern is breaking now. God says you are about to see who has been profiting from your silence. Someone benefits when you doubt yourself. Someone has enjoyed the version of you that hides your light beneath their shadow. They smiled while you hesitated. They praised your humility while sabotaging your confidence. But they didn't realize your humility was strength in disguise, and now, it's being turned into action. Archangel Michael says you are standing on the bridge between everything they feared you would become and everything heaven designed you to be. The bridge is trembling, but that's only because it's real. It's not a dream. It's here. And they can't follow you. You feel that something strange is rising. A subtle urgency. A vibration under your ribs. That is spiritual confirmation. You are passing through a portal that they cannot see, but it has already been scheduled in heaven's calendar. God says He is canceling the false deadlines that others placed on you. They told you you were too late. They convinced you that it was over. But they did not author your timeline, He did. The timeline was only delayed because the wrong voices were too close to your calling. Their doubt was louder than your preparation. And so the divine slowed the release, not to punish you, but to preserve you. There is a moment coming when the door will not just open, it will disappear. And when it does, you will no longer need permission to step into what has always been yours. You've been living beneath a spiritual ceiling constructed by others. Not because they hated you, but because they feared what your freedom would demand from them. Because if you rose, they'd be required to look inward. They chose comfort. You chose calling. Archangel Michael says there is a vibration tearing through the spiritual realm now, like lightning underwater. It is breaking contracts, exposing secret interference, and unlocking rooms that have been sealed to delay your movement. You may feel disoriented. Time may feel strange. Things may appear out of sync. But this is the realignment before the final push. The last minute before the sunrise always feels like something is ending, but it is something beginning. The divine is pulling you out of spiritual debt. The IOUs written in your name by voices of shame are being revoked. The fear that became your decision maker is being stripped of its crown. God says the energy that once kept you small is now being redirected into divine vengeance, not of punishment, but of repayment. You will recover what you lost, not in the same form, but in multiplied ways. Someone once told you it wasn't your time. But they spoke from their own limitations. And now that very person will witness your rise and realize their mistake. They didn't delay your blessing, they delayed their seat beside you. The enemy wants you tired now. Not because you're weak, but because you're minutes from breakthrough. And the fatigue is the final test. Will you fold under weight, or will you rise through fire? Archangel Michael says the confusion you've been walking through was engineered as a maze. But God is bending the maze into a straight line. What once felt like loops will become shortcuts. Time is being redeemed for your sake. God says there is someone about to knock with an offer, an idea, a chance. It may seem like it comes from nowhere, but it was stored until you were ready. Until fear no longer sat in your passenger seat. Do not second-guess this arrival. It will shake your nerves, stretch your peace, demand your courage. But it is not a distraction, it is your confirmation. You are not entering a new chapter. You are entering a new realm. And those who fed on your uncertainty will not have access to this spiritual territory. There will be a moment, soon, when you will look back and realize the delay did not destroy you. It refined you. It burned away the false relationships. It toughened your spirit. It trained your discernment. God says you were not rejected, you were protected. And now, you are released. This next phase is not about being seen. It's about being positioned. God is lifting you out of the fog and placing you directly into the flow of divine acceleration. Do not explain yourself anymore. Do not shrink for comfort. Let your sudden rise confuse those who spoke of your ending. The engineered delay ends now. The divine clock isn't measured in hours or days. It ticks in awakenings, in gasps of truth, in sudden silence that hits your chest like thunder. And right now, it's striking. Archangel Michael says this is the final summons. Heaven has already gathered the wind, summoned the light, and silenced the enemy's tongue. The shift you felt crawling under your skin wasn't anxiety, it was the soul bracing itself for transition. God says the moment has been burning toward you like a comet veiled in smoke. The people who once laughed at your stillness are about to witness a movement so divine it fractures their perception of what's possible. Their logic will not explain your next rise. You must understand this, you were never forgotten. Not for a second. Not for a breath. Even in the empty rooms where you cried in spiritual exhaustion, angels surrounded you, watching, recording, waiting for the release signal. Someone tried to steal that signal. They tried to mimic heaven's sound to detour your blessing. But heaven encrypted this moment in your spirit before you were born. No thief could unlock it. Archangel Michael says there was a plot designed to trigger a false sense of closure. The enemy wanted you to believe it was over. That the curtain had dropped. That no new scene was coming. But that was a forgery, crafted by darkness. And you're about to watch the curtain rise again. The next event in your life will not make sense to the people around you. It will seem too sudden, too strange, too miraculous. That's because it's not coming from logic. It's being sent directly from the realm where only the divine makes sense. God says the next 45 minutes are sacred. Invisible threads are unraveling lies that were sewn into your name. Old words, once spoken in secret, are being revoked. Tongues that mocked your faith are falling silent. A person is being spiritually arrested. They were assigned to delay your destiny by subtle manipulation. Their season of interference is now over. Heaven has removed their access. You are stepping into the result of everything you've survived silently. You wept, but still showed up. You broke, but still believed. That stubborn belief, the part of you that refused to quit, was your signature on heaven's contract. Archangel Michael says he has stood watch beside your shadowed moments. He watched you walk away from what was easy to protect what was sacred. That sacrifice was not in vain. It bent time itself in your favor. The people who once had influence over your emotions are being spiritually relocated. Their energy cannot distort this new divine assignment. What once swayed you, no longer touches you. You have been transferred. A new spiritual jurisdiction. A higher dimension of influence, clarity, and peace. You won't even recognize yourself in a few days. You will walk into rooms and shift atmospheres without a word. God says this blessing isn't coming with fireworks, it's coming with stillness. It will enter like a hush after the storm. A clear sky after long chaos. And you will know, not from proof, but from peace. Do not try to make others understand this phase. They haven't been with you in the furnace. They didn't hold your thoughts when you trembled in the night. This rise was privately earned and divinely delivered. The unexpected is now. The strange call. The sudden message. The quiet opportunity that sounds almost too good to be true. Don't dismiss it. It's part of the release code. God says there is something He placed in your spirit that not even you fully understand yet. But it's awakening. And once it stirs fully, your entire life will bend around its emergence. Someone who was watching you from the shadows is about to reveal themselves. But not to harm, to confess. You impacted them without knowing. And they are being led to honor you with something that shifts everything. You may feel the tremble of endings. But don't panic. What's leaving now has outlived its purpose. It is being removed to make room for the correct ending, the divine finale, not the forced one. Archangel Michael says there are spiritual codes written into this very moment. Your spirit is decoding them in dreams, feelings, even physical signs. Listen closely. You will be shown what to touch, what to leave, what to bless, and what to walk away from. The noise you've been surviving is ending. The manipulation, the delays, the confusion, the false promises, all of it. Heaven has slammed the gate behind them. They cannot come back. God says, the portal is open. Not later. Not soon. Now. The wind you feel on your face is not weather, it is heaven exhaling. It is time. This new level doesn't ask for your perfection. It asks for your yes. Your surrender. Your obedience to the nudge that won't let you sleep at night. That's not restlessness. That's the divine GPS. You are about to be called by name in a space you never expected. Someone you never met is carrying your name in their next conversation. The room has been prepared. The seat reserved. The invitation released. Do not hesitate. Don't reason your way out of it. Don't let fear interpret divine mystery. Follow the vibration. Follow the strange peace that makes no sense to your old self. The divine clock has struck. The angels have opened the record. Your file has been marked with activation. From this moment, time will bend. Energy will respond. People will shift. And you will rise.